I need something to bring up the energy. I can get a what I want to bring up the energy. What I want, where you want, where you have.
Oh, this is Edna Manley?
All right, Edna. This opening segment is brought to you by Edna Manley. Give me a little stir fry now. Give me a little stir fry. Give me a little stir fry. Edna. Wake up, Edna. Wake up, Edna.
No, Edna Manley, be very careful because we have a whole heap of students here who can probably take you on, you know. See, right in the back, I see somebody say, come on now, come on. Why Edna? Why Edna?
Edna. That is Ed. I don't say the na. Where you at? Whoa.
What school is that in the back? Whoa.
Competition.
I'm too old. I'm way too old.
All right. I feel a little energy.
They don't do the bogle anymore?
No, Terry. Hold on. That group up there wanted to dance.
That's the Montego Bay. That's not a Montego Bay.
Stir fry. That's a fricassee. Stand up. Where you at? Whoa. Stir fry. Oh, all right, no. Give to them.
All right. Thank you so very much. Vibes on the right, vibes on the left. Are you guys teaching Dr. Miles Davis how to
stir fry?
Wow. I love it. So the perfect way that we could probably kick off the second half is with a company that actually exemplifies creativity.
Yes, and we already saw Akira.
One member.
One grain from the sand on the beach of talent that is this group.
Yes.
And I'm just
internationally
acclaimed, explosive, dynamic.
Singers, dancers, actors.
Triple threat.
All right. Who are they?
They start. Who are they? I see three over here. I see the A. Where's the shed? Well, join us as we welcome the Ashe Performing Arts Group. Make some noise. Come on. Ashe. start right on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air. Oh, but when you're walking down the street and you ain't got enough to eat, oh, the glitter rubs right off and you're nowhere. They say that I won't last too long on Broadway. On Broadway. I catch the Greyhound bus go home, they all say. On Broadway. But they did wrong, I know they are. 'Cause I can play this here guitar, oh. And I won't quit till I'm a star on Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. I'm gonna be a big, 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 big man. On Broadway. On Broadway. On Broadway. Something great is happening. So come along and see. There's magic in this moment. Celebrating creativity.
Excellence and easy, even when you're hot. We've got the best people right here in this room, and that is just what
We're celebrating everything right. So it's a light, camera, action today. By bits put together, by piece, on a way to make a work of art is put together.
Every moment makes a contribution.
Every little detail plays a part.
Having just the vision's no solution.
Everything depends on execution. The art of making art is putting together. We're celebrating the Jamaica Creative Career Expo.
Celebrating excellence in film,
Music,
drama,
dance.
theater, and fashion. We thank the Ministry of Culture, Gender and Entertainment and Sport for creating this platform, creating passion, dedication, and realizing that we are all champions.
we are the champions, my friend. And we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions
Of the world. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, hey.
We are family. I've got all my family with me.
I've got all my family with me.
We are family.
Hey, hey, hey.
Get up, everybody, and sing.
Hey.
We are family. I've got all my family with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. All right. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by. And we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie.
See all of my people around us, they say they can be this clown.
Family.
And for the record, ha, we're sharing love and a family. Don't say yeah.
We are family.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got all my family with me.
I've got all my family with me.
We are family.
Family, family, yeah,
Get up, everybody, and sing.
Get up, everybody.
Come
a celebration.
Celebrate good times, come on.
It's a celebration.
Celebrate good times, come on.
It's a celebration.
There's a party going on right here.
A celebration that lasts around the year.
So bring your good times and your laughter too.
Oh, we're gonna celebrate
Your party with you. Come on now.
celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure?
When you feel that beat,
And we go round the boogie.
share that beat along. Dum diggity dum da dum da dum, dum diggity dum da dum da dum. Dum da dum da dum. Dum da dum da dum, dum diggity, dum diggity.
We are the champions, my friend.
And we keep on fighting to the end.
We are the champions.
We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
Of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ashe.
Bop, 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 bop. Ashe.
Mighty God.
No time for losers. Because we are the champions.
First-
No time for losers.
First of all, my asthma would never, could never
Sister.
sing. Somebody said sing and dance. For singers, they know that you have to have a lot of like breath control.
sir.
I mean,
No, sister.
and when you make it look easy, understand that they're working even harder, right? Them come and them sing and you say, yeah, man,
Terry,
how about
no,
it?
no. You see the car scene at the start? After me lift up sister, you know, I would be out. May I say, yeah, man, this is it.
The knees.
Oh.
No, and so what we're also, and what Ashe is also demonstrating is that the arts, the performing arts, is not just a one dimension. If you can sing, but you can also dance and sing, and if you can also dance, sing, and act, I mean, the opportunities are
Endless.
just. And the idea too is that it was a musical, so it's not just knowing the stir fry, that's cool, and the fling, yeah, that's cool, but also
Let me see the
learning,
fling again.
just cool.
Okay.
Just good. But the technique, now I know some of the songs at the beginning, most of some of you young people in here wouldn't
Terry
have.
dancing up, people.
For those of us who are 80s babies, 70s, you know, you would have seen the difference in the audience because we were dancing to the Pink Cadillac and we knew the words word for word. But that was absolutely lovely.
Amazing.
Put your hands together again for Ashe.
Yes.
That was awesome. And they were in heels.
Not one, not two, not three song.
Dr. Miles Davis said something earlier with us in the back where he said one of the traits in an ideal candidate who wins a sponsorship or a scholarship, is having the ability to adapt. And if there's one thing I learned in dancing, I never know to sing. I know he said that if he can talk, he can sing. Not really. But learning to dance, what it taught me is you can learn to do a routine. You can learn to do a routine in one particular space, right? But then when you come to the venue as performers, you realize there are seats. It's now semicircular, and you saw how many of them had to kind of spot in one space. That is the power of adjusting and adapting to any space and place. Job well done, as usual. Ashe.
And just to put it in context as well, you guys have been doing this from you were young, you know. Because remember when you used to go JCDC and you practice on the the school, round at the veranda, round at the back by Miss Mason class. And he said, yeah, man, we're going to go up a little theater, we're going to mash it up. And when you reach little theater, the stage big. And you say, boy, how will I adapt? You've been adapting from ever since. So don't feel like it's a special skill. We've all been doing it.
And we can continue to do it. Absolutely.
Bit by bit.
We're putting it together, right?
Together.
So we move from Ashe and we're now going into, of course, this is the part that we want to learn even more. And we have two technical delegates that are capable of speaking about skills from the Heart NSTA Trust. We're talking about Dwayne Bent as well as Stacey-Ann Kane Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
Please make them welcome.
For this powerful presentation.
The Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's leading human development agency, is committed to advancing technical, vocational education and training and preparing the workforce with the requisite talent to drive the economy. Unleash your passion for skills today and build a future that will enable you to unearth limitless opportunities. Come to Heart for emerging and future skills that will catapult you to greatness. Find a skills pathway today. Where there's a skill, there's a way.
Indeed, where there is a skill, there is a... Can I hear it from folks over this side? Where there's a skill, there is a... In the middle, where there's a skill, there is a... And over this side, where there's a skill, there is a... Way. Good afternoon, everybody. I am so high after that performance by Ashi.
I'm still trying to understand, how they do all of these things. But I heard one of the presenters earlier said that there's some things that happen in the background that enable these performances. And those are the skills. And that's the skill that shows them the way. All right, so we're going to talk some more about that.
All right, thank you so much for inviting us to speak to you about Jamaica's participation in the 46th staging of the World Skills International Competition. But before I advance, just to share with you a fun fact. The next competition will be held in Lyon in the year 2024. And normally, the skills competitions is named after the country that will host it and the year it will be held. So the name of the next international skills competition will be Lyon 2024. And Lyon is a country in the south of France that is known for historical and architectural landmarks and is a UNESCO heritage site. The competitions is like, if you think about the Olympics, well, this is the skills of Olympics. So just imagine we have over 85 countries with the best of the best in the various skill areas competing against each other. And we are here to tell you about how you can get involved in that opportunity this afternoon. Now, let's take it to the local scene, Dwayne. Let us tell these folks about our national skills competition.
Okay, thanks, Stacey. So our national skills competition is set to take place, and you can look on screen, on May 29, May 29 to June 1 in Kingston. May 29 to June 2 in Kingston, Jamaica. It's the 8th staging. And 230 young, bright Jamaicans, like age 20 and below, is set to get that international experience across 35 skill sectors. And approximately 20,000 visitors from local and abroad will be there to share in that experience. And 100 Jamaicans will be able to serve as volunteers, setting the stage for one of the most awesome experiences Jamaican youths will ever uncover, and we will be showing you those skills that you can look to come and experience.
All right. So these are some of the objectives of the National Skills Competition. Really, we are creating a platform similar to this one where young people like yourself can come and showcase your skills and competencies. So whether you are looking to pursue hairdressing, electrical installation, up to electronics, various skill areas. So you'll get an opportunity to showcase your skills.
Additionally, it will serve as a career tool because we're about raising awareness about careers for the now, careers that are in demand, new and emerging, and careers for the future. So, of course, we're going to be showcasing. And let's get to the good part.
Of course.
Selected persons, top competitors in selected skill areas will also get an opportunity to receive further training and an opportunity to be selected to represent Jamaica in Lyon 2024, and that's September 2024. So these are the sectors and skill areas that we're going to be showcasing. And as you can guess, we're in the creative space, and it feels so good to be among the present and future creatives. So, of course, creative arts and fashion. And the skills to be showcased is fashion technology, graphic design technology, and visual merchandising. Do we have any persons pursuing fashion technology here this afternoon? Okay, and I guess that is Garmex, right? What about graphic design technology? Do we have any of those? Yes, I hear some folks over that side. And visual merchandising. Now, anybody knows who is a visual merchandiser? Yes? Those are the people that cause you to spend your money. When you pass those stores and they're fancily laid out and displayed, those are visual designers. But we're focusing on the emerging part of the skills. So if you will notice, most of the shopping experience is now being transferred to online. And so you're going to need a different set of skills to be able to replicate that level of imagery and visual display when you get in the online space. Because nobody wants to go into a dull online store to shop. So we're focusing on the emerging components of these skills. Now, we did say it will serve as a career tool. And so we're going to be showcasing visuals like this on big screens like this. Jobs for the future. So meet Greg. Greg will be 45. He's a male. And in 2030, he will be doing a job called immersive experience designer. Anybody knows what that is? That's an emerging, not an emerging, but a new job. And that's from the creative economy sector. We had to do some research to find out what kind of job is this really? And when we looked it up, it says this is a form of design that involves the use of virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality that creates the illusion that the user is physically interacting with the realistic digital atmosphere. And if you think about metaverse, right? Facebook just renamed, or not just, recently renamed to metaverse. And that is really the space where a lot of the business activities and interactions are taking place. And if you look about, if you research about the digital economy and all that activities that will be taking place, this is what an immersive designer is really responsible to do to ensure that rich and immersive experience. Dwayne?
And definitely, this cannot happen without information communication technology.
Indeed.
The information networking cabling market has expounded over the years from network to wireless and network support, enabling activities and events and business structures to operate in the green economy. IT software for business solutions, that has expanded as well. We learned the hard way through the pandemic how IT expanded to allow persons to work from home and business to re-innovate how they approach their processes. And that's a sector and a skill that continues to grow.
And it continues to impact all sectors. So education, manufacturing,
right,
transport,
right.
medicine. Yes.
Excellent. Mobile application development. Now everything is touch from the phone. And we can talk about mobile robotics that is taking the world.
I wonder if some of these persons here will get an opportunity to create an app to clean my house. I'd love that.
That's possible, Stacey.
All right. And we're getting the wrapping up, so let's just get through this as quickly as we can. Yeah. Social and personal services. So we're going to be showcasing beauty therapy, hairdressing, health and social care. And of course, tourism is one of those sectors that is growing and much activity we're seeing there, especially after the pandemic. So of course, we're going to be showcasing this sector. 5 skill areas, as you can see on the screen there. Now, not only are we going to be focusing on competition, but we're going to be showcasing some skills in terms of demonstration and trial skills. So you'll get an opportunity to try some of these skills. And lastly, we're going to be having a youth forum, TVET Youth Forum and Leaders Summit, where the young people like yourself can come and share your ideas, how you believe we're preparing you for the future with the decision makers. And how can you get involved? Visit www.heart-nsta.org and just click on a flyer that says promotion. That will take you through the application process and share some more information in terms of the requirements of the competition. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing all the applications from the schools represented here. Share with your friends, share with your family. Remember, come September 2024, you can have CXCs in one hand and a Leon 2024 experience in the other.
Of course. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so very much, Stacey, and as well as Dwayne. Certainly, I hope you are trying to catch as much information as possible. And of course, you can visit the website and you can apply. And then they'll go through the process of vetting and selecting.
All right, students, we'll get into the panel discussion. We're getting there. But I need you guys to hear from this gentleman. He is someone who I respect. He is a colleague, in a sense, because we're both attorneys at law. He is also a former campaigner like myself and Terry.
Ready strong.
Ready strong. Any campaigner? Yeah.
Just one over there, okay.
And he happens to be State Minister of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Please give it up for Minister, the Honorable Orlando Terry Long. The dancing minister, no, I need some noise for my dancing minister.
And something that he will not say, I mean, yeah, he knows the stir fry and all the latest dances, but he's a professionally trained dancer out of the company, Dance Theatre Company, and he speaks
Spanish.
3 languages.
Oh, 3.
So I guess we could say 3 or 4. So I guess we could say, bon après-midi, monsieur.
That's with them now.
Bienvenue. Buenos dias.
Yeah, man.
Buenas tardes. How do you say bad mind in Spanish? Adios.
Adios. Check me back.
Muchas gracias.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Blessed love to you both. Good afternoon, my fellow creatives. Okay, let's try it just one more time, yeah, to just see how really creative we can be with a good afternoon. Good afternoon, my fellow creatives. Blessed love. You know, so I mean, there is, as a member of parliament, you know, the journey takes you through a lot. And this week has been extremely heavy. But I walked in here, you know, and I said to my advisor, you know, he said, Minister, you're good? I said, listen, my mood was completely transformed. I mean, the power and the energy from every single one of you has literally given life to the day. And that is the power of creatives. It is your responsibility to give life to the world. And in so doing, every single one of you has been empowered with a very special gift, that gift to create. And I want to thank Professor Davis. I want to thank Madame Royer, who has just stepped out. Of course, you know, I mean, Marissa and our entire team at the ministry, you know, for putting together all of this. And more importantly, to you, our young kings and queens, for attending this very important creative exposition. It is very important that we understand that whilst traditional careers have their merit and their place in this world, I mean, you will always need doctors, you will always need lawyers, you will always need architects and so forth. But in the new world that we are creating, it is up to you to learn the emerging skills of today and the future skills of tomorrow. And those skills can only be harnessed by you, the creatives. So when we speak of creative skills and creative talent, I mean, I myself in a former life, writer, actor, dancer, I mean, I look at our panelists and I have worked with most of them in one capacity or another. So not only did Terry and I go to Campion, but 2005, when she was preparing for her talent piece for Miss World 2005. It was right at the company dance studio, and I was charged with making sure that all her lines were perfect and that she did went through her rehearsal. I mean, John and I, we've worked together at the Philip Sherlock. You know, I mean, John did lighting on several productions through Jamaica Theatre Company, etc., Jamaica Musical Theatre Company. You know, I mean, Rushcam, you know, the lawyer who, he's actually making more money as a creative than he could as a lawyer. So when people think about struggling creatives don't exist. You have struggling lawyers and you have struggling politicians, but you don't have struggling creatives, all right? It does not exist at all. You know, I mean, Nadine, again, through the creative space. I mean, Marcus from when he was at Ashley as well. The entire Ashley group here, I mean, Conroy and them. You know, I mean, Dean went to Campion. So, I mean, I've literally worked with many of our panelists here today in one creative form or another. And when you leave this room, I want you all to understand that whilst I'm connected to them, you are all connected to each other and connected to all of them. And again, that is the beauty of creativity. So don't leave here without understanding the benefit of networking. You know, last night we were at the reception last night, and Nadine is working on a project. And I said, Nadine, have you met Yuri from UNESCO? Because, you know, UNESCO, they're funding lots of creativity, etc. She said, no, but I'd love to meet him. And that introduction, I mean, Nadine and Yuri, I mean, they're literally already networking and making that link, and she's going to be doing other things with UNESCO. And, you know, so that's a kind of energy. You know, I saw Professor Davis speaking to Marcos, and it's already making that link. And I want every single one of you, as a government, when we put together a creative expo such as this, it's for you to learn, understand, but most importantly, take away the lessons and the contacts to guide you throughout your lives as creatives. The world truly belongs to every single one of you, and you have to take your space at the table. Always be your biggest cheerleader. Never stop believing in yourself, because the sky is not even the limit. The sky is but a pathway to an endless universe of success and continuing success that awaits you all. So, my fellow creatives, in the 1960s, and again, creativity is nothing new to Jamaica. Long before the era of Bob Marley and the Wailers, there was Desmond Dekker. How many of you here know Desmond Dekker? A blessed love. Few hands going up. But you should know Desmond Dekker. You should know Millie Small, because again, the creative giant that Jamaica is, because we punch far above our weight class, an island of less than 3 million people with a diaspora of maybe about 3 million again. You know, that is so, Jamaica is a center of creativity. And when you look at the artists and professionals, they all want to work in Jamaica, whether it's film, whether it's production, whether it's theater, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's music, whatever it is, everyone pays tribute. They literally come to Jamaica to pay homage to the greatness that we are. And it's up to you all to continue that legacy. And I believe you have the power to do that, because you do have that creative force that gives life and rebirth to everything. In the future, it will be robotics, it is data, it is coding, it is artificial intelligence, it is all these emerging technologies that will become life for the future. So, I greet you all well. I wish you all an amazing expo, and I hope that in the future, I will come to sit down and listen to some of you as you become the very best of the best in the world. Blessed love to you all.
Is that walking trophy? Is that really walking trophy? I heard a little rhythm drop and I was just like, me a dolly nothing. No, me's not a dolly. Me no dolly dong, me no dolly nothing. Thank you so very much to the minister. Muchísimas gracias por todo. Lo agradezco mucho. It's funny, you actually reminded me about that in 2005. I learned to dance to the soundtrack of The Lion King. That placed me second in dance at Miss World. So thank you again. Thank you so very much. So now we're getting into our panel discussion, and I'm very excited. We're speaking, well, this first panel discussion is about film, lighting, production. And a lot of the times we think about the people, the talent on the stage, maybe in front of camera, but there's so many things that happen behind it. And these are our panelists.
Mr. Dean Shepherd is the CEO of SNB Creative Group, a group of leading companies in the event and entertainment industry, providing solutions for clients ranging from event management, live streaming, trussing, lighting, decor, tents, audio, staging, LED screens, generators, videography, video editing, and graphic design. The current members of the group include Blueprint Events, Starlight Production, and Real Time Studios. Mr. Shepherd studied mechanical engineering with a first-class honors at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, and computer studies at the University of the West Indies, Mona. He specializes in event planning, event execution, creative design, booth design and implementation, timeline preparation, event planning training, coaching, marketing strategy, sales strategy, and new production development. Please welcome Dean Shepherd to the Jamaica Creative Conference. Nadine Rollins' career in entertainment started over 20 years ago as an actor, and since then she has worked in various capacities in theatre, television, and film. In 2015, she started Raw Management, a production company and talent agency that focuses on developing and promoting Jamaican stories and talents through advancement and international exposure. In 2020, Nadine produced her first short film, Traytown, that has screened regionally and internationally, and she produced and directed the pitch for the feature film project that received the Audience Choice Award at 2021's Caribbean Tales, The Big Pitch, at TIFF. Since 2021, Nadine has produced and directed 2 short films and currently has 2 feature-length films in development. Nadine is an alumnus of the IFFR Rotterdam Producer Lab, Creators of Color, and Locarno Open Doors Producers Lab. She is the president of Women in Film and Television Jamaica, WIFT-JA, and a member of the Jamaica Film and Television Association, JAFTA. Please welcome Nadine Rollins to the Jamaica Creative Conference. John DaCosta is a lighting director, media designer, director, and programmer who studied at the Nassau Community College and consistently delivers first-class lighting experiences on behalf of his artist clients. Also known as the Super Lighting Guy, John has become the go-to lighting expert for numerous production houses and has worked with globally recognized artists, including Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys, Nicki Minaj, Kid Cudi, Sean Paul, Reggae Sumfest, Maroon 5, John Legend, Maxwell, Mary J. Blige, and Jay-Z. Please welcome John DaCosta to the Jamaica Creative Conference.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so very much for being here. John, Nadine, Dean, Campion College, Wolmer's, as well as Merle Grove, right? Different schools being represented. Let me jump right into it. And by the way, for those of you who are a part of this, this is interactive. I'm going to jump off with a couple of questions, but this is going to be your opportunity to ask these experts within their industry of film, lighting, and production. So if you have questions, start to get them together, and we will, of course, ensure that microphones get to you. So let me start off with John. John, we heard the big names, right? The Maxwells and the Jay-Z's, the John Legends. What is the biggest misconception people have, and especially maybe youngsters when we speak about careers? What's the biggest misconception they have with regards to lighting?
I don't think it's a misconception. I think they just don't understand the importance of it. Typically when I teach a class, I start off by saying that lighting is life. If you think about it, without light, you can't see. You don't know when to wake up. You don't know when to sleep. Vitamin D deficiency makes you sick. Photosynthesis, plants. Without light, there's no food. Without light, there's no energy. So there's already this massive importance around us, but people don't see that as something that can be harnessed. And that's what my job is to harness all the things you know about light already and represent that with an artist and making it bigger. Because, again, in the end, you can always hear someone sing, but you need to see them sing also. So that we're just as important. But The other side is that it's a shared experience. I work with audio, I work with the set, I work with everything, so it's a cohesive thing. I can't be alone. Jay-Z's not going to just stand there and look. People want to hear him sing, so they want to hear his voice. But I help to enhance what he's saying, and that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you. I'm going to come across to Dean. You have been behind some of the greatest productions. You studied mechanical engineering, and we heard Janet Rollet earlier, who spoke about medicine being there, doctor being there, but then she decided to do dancing. When did you make that switch, and what was the trigger for that switch?
Well, it's an interesting one. I mean, I talk about it often, but every time people ask me, still kind of do wonder to myself how the switch happened. But I wanted to study engineering because I was always interested in sciences, always interested in trying to figure things out, electronics, how things worked. So that was always a passion at first. Didn't get into engineering school at first because my father told me to study Spanish instead of chemistry. So they said, your grades are good, but you don't have chemistry, so you can't get in. So I wandered around for a while, did computer studies, and said, all right, let me go and do engineering. Did it, came out, worked at Red Stripe for a number of projects. And again, it was fulfilling my passion because it was new things, new machinery, new processes, new lines. But then one day, the head of marketing came to me and she said, Dean, you're always out with our team. You're very structured and disciplined, but you have this little creativity to you. I think you're being wasted. And I said, no, I spent 6 years getting my degree. Why would I jump ship after 2 years? That doesn't make any sense. That my father would kill me. But she said in a candid way, she said, what do you want to be known for in your career? Somebody who is working with oil and pumps, or do you want to be behind all these product launches that we have coming up for Smirnoff, for Guinness, and so? I guess that kind of hype kind of sold me. So I said, why not? So that's pretty much how the switch happened. She told me that I need to kind of look into my personality and put that as part of my passion as well.
So there was somebody else who spotted your strengths, and a lot of the times that's what happens. People actually identify some strengths in us before we even know it. Nadine, I am coming across to you because you are in production, you've been in front of the camera, you are an actress, but then you also direct, you also produce, and it also reminded me of something that was said earlier in terms of, you know, having your education, but learning what's next, learning the other piece of your industry. Was that very easy? Because we're trying to connect what was said earlier to what it is you do for persons who are interested in film and production.
Well, my career started out as an actor some 250 years ago. And, you know, it really, I wanted more. I was desperate for more. And unfortunately, at the time when I did it, when I was acting, I'm still acting, I was just eager for more. And unfortunately, there wasn't a career at the time for an actor. And so I desperately sought that, though working in corporate, and successfully too. And so I said, you know, what else can I do in the area of entertainment? And so I started a company while I was working, but I was still working, you know, still going to my 9 to 5. And so decided to start Raw Management. And when Mrs. Rollet spoke about, you know, just finding that passion, I said, you know, Raw Management is that passion. A lot of people used to come to me and say, can you help me to be an actor? What do I need to do? And so from that's what unearthed Raw Management, because there was a niche, people wanted advice, and so, okay, why not start an agency where I could help people? So it really started out with helping people to find their joy and their passion, and so that's what really started the company, and from that just went into film production, because if I have an actor who wants to pursue film, I need to understand what's happening in the film industry, right? And so I said, okay, let me go and produce a film. Right. Had no idea what I was doing at all. But when I got into film, girl, bite me. Loved it. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm just creating films and just love it.
So the love bug bit you.
Yes.
But if there's one takeaway that we can all agree on is the fact that you have to take the risk.
Yes.
Even with Dean, knowing that he did the 6 years, he got the degree, he still had to take the risk to pivot. You had to take the risk to pivot. John, I'm coming to you. You have all of these big productions. You're called in to consult, to come up with the lighting, and to deal with all of these superstars. We speak a lot about the technical skills, but what are the soft skills that you, and we call them soft, but I actually think that they are hard skills. But what are the other skills outside of technical skills that you have had to learn and heighten in order to deal with clients?
I think working in Jamaica trained me for a lot of what I did. So when I made the transition, it was easy because I already knew how to deal with it. I think if I was going to sum it all up, I said this to Michael yesterday, and he's like, I have to say it, let me videotape it. I say it just needs 90% attitude and 10% aptitude. Because with the right attitude, someone will always teach you. You'll always learn more because someone will bring you under their wings and teach you more and more. And then your aptitude is just going to grow and you're going to learn more. So sometimes it's just the attitude to learn, to adapt, to think, to listen, those things. A lot of it is just communication. I tell this story to a class the other day that the first time I got to work for Jay-Z, my friend was doing Rihanna, because he worked for Rock Nation, and Jay-Z was, Rihanna was on the Tonight Show, and Jay-Z had a show at Terminal 1 for Tidal. So Jesse calls me and just say, yo, John, I need you to cover this Jay-Z show for me, please. I said, all right, no problem. So I fly to New York, and I land, I went straight to rehearsal, and I was walked right in, met the production manager, walked right in, sat down, Jay-Z was rehearsing, and I never forget that what blew my mind was I walked in thinking I was going to meet the superstar, and here was this guy that was just working hard. The band was rehearsing. He made a couple mistakes. He had his notes there. He was kept going, and I sat back and I looked at it and I was like, he's not taking where he is for granted. He worked hard to get there, and he was just an amazing. I sat through the whole rehearsal. He came over. We spoke about the treatment for the next day. And that was my takeaway. And even when Beyonce came after, because she was there, and they're all still rehearsing, and the band did the second to last run, they were going to take a break. And it was so good. Beyonce was like, one more time, Jay. And Jay was like, no, it's not your band, it's my band. They're taking a break, you know. So just the attitude, your attitude towards everything will be the way to get there, the right attitude.
I love the fact that he just kind of mentions Beyonce and Jay-Z, my friend just called me and said, Jay-Z, you need to fly in. Yeah, Beyonce, she did it too, but everything cool. But it's important for us to hear these stories because a lot of the time when we hear these superstars, there is usually a Jamaican somewhere in the mix. And the fact that we have persons who can give us these stories makes us realize that the possibilities are absolutely there. Dean, biggest lesson, because you're another one. You have to deal with tons of clients. Everybody, you have a whole heap of cooking in the kitchen. Everybody wants something. You have to consult. Sometimes you have to give input. What's the biggest lesson you have learned all these years dealing with all of these clients as well as events? Lord, Dean, hold him head.
Wow, yeah, it's how much time?
Biggest lesson.
Well, everything is kind of interconnected, right? And I'll try and summarize some of the adjustments in terms of coming from a craft background or craft focus to kind of understanding if you want to build a business out of it, and adjusting from focusing on the creative side and realizing that 10% is actually what you can functionally do. 90% is actually the business side of it, the relationship, the sales, the marketing, managing people. Even though the majority of my day is managing my team, because without my team, I can't do anything at all. I can't put up the lights or program the lights at all. So I spend a lot of time talking to them. And so with creatives, there's always this thing that I say to people when they ask my opinion is that you have to understand where in the creative ecosystem you want to be. Do you want to focus on your art, or do you want to focus on the business? Because there are often times where you can't do both. If you want to stay in a particular space, as the creative, you can be there. If you want to take it to another level, don't be afraid to collaborate invite people into your space to work with you who have skills to complement you. So I think that's the biggest lesson for me, is really kind of understanding where I want to be, what skill sets I have, being honest with the skills that what I am good at, and being able to bring people into my space, whether team members, partners, to help me to get to that next level.
So also learning how to collaborate. Nadine, talk to me about casting. We might have a lot of students in here who are very interested in film, and sometimes we see casting calls. How do they prepare themselves if they ever want to be cast in a production?
Well, thanks for asking that. Recently, I did a project with HBO, right? And with Marlon James, it's hopefully coming out this year. Nice. And we had to do an extensive casting. And unfortunately, we were getting feedback from the executives from HBO about the quality of self-tapes and headshots, etc. What I would say to aspiring actors is to do the research as to what you need to be equipped with when you go to a casting call. If you need to take a headshot, or you're asked for a headshot, don't take a selfie, because that's not going to work. What is a headshot? What is a full body shot? What is a reel? Those are the things that you just Google on the internet, and you can get all that information you need to be prepared. There are a lot of talents here. We did an excellent casting, and we did cast 99% from Jamaica, which is great. Excellent. A lot of actors came out of Jamaica, but it was a very tedious task just to get persons ready. So if you are not sure, you could always, email us and find out how it is to be very prepared for that.
So again, even though you have the talent, you have to do the research and you have to be prepared. Are there any questions? We have film.
Terry, I want to add to that. Sure. A lot of time people ask me what you need and the training and how do you be different or get past that curve. And to add to what Nadine said, I always say, just think of it like an athlete. So I treat my job like an athlete does, which means they come and they train every day. And they're training actual. They're not today, they're not, I feel like I'm going to do it. They just train every day. Because what that does is create muscle memory. And now it becomes almost secondary. So the first time I went to my first job overseas, I was already doing it already. So when I turned up, I was like, oh, this is not as different as I thought it would be, because I was ready. I was already training every day. So that's it. It's just treat it like sports. Yes. It's a good example.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any question? Okay, I see some hands. So there are ushers in white shirts. Okay, so we have a mic over here. Just let me know your name, your school, and let's jump right into the questions. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Santwa Alberts. I'm from St. Andrew High School for Girls.
Beautiful.
So my question is to Mr. Da Costa. So it's kind of a wordy question, so I hope that you understand. Just let me know. So basically, as a creative, you're ever evolving, right? But when you reach a certain stage in your life, like where you are in your career, it's taking some years, like years. I remember when you came to our school and spoke to us just the other day, and you were speaking about your first experience in lighting with Sean Paul.
Yeah, okay. Sean Paul.
And that was
2006.
Years ago. I was like 1. I know I'm 17 years old. So.
So the question?
Yeah, I have the question now. So what are your plans for the future, and how do you, as a creative, try to improve in yourself and continue to explore different areas when you're already so rooted and grounded in the stage that you are in your career?
Thank you.
All right, challenge me with a first question. All right, so I would say there is no original idea. Every idea that ever has been born is born from inference of something else. So what I tend to do is look at others' people work, because I learn from that. So I'll go to other people's show, I'll go to my friend's show, I'll go to the show that I don't want to go to, because I'm going to learn from their mistakes also. And it reminds me that I have to keep on target. Now, it's a loaded question for me because coming out of COVID, and I lost a lot of friends during that time, I've refocused my energy into more of, I'm okay where I am. I've gotten to my ceiling, and I'm going to cruise for the rest of my life. But at the same time, I need to find 300 more like me, because I've opened so many doors in my field that I have people calling me and say, hey, I need a young LD to go on a tour, and I can't recommend someone. So I'm tasking myself with that responsibility to find the next person. So that's why I'm here even today. I made the time because I say to Nadia all the time, Nadia, put up your hand, Nadia. Come on, Nadia.
Nadia Roxburgh.
Female lighting designer, my good friend that I call every now and then when I'm stuck on something. I say, Nadia, take a look at this. What do you think? I get a fresh set of eyes. But I say to Nadia all the time, if I had someone like me looking for me when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, I would be further in my career. It took me longer because I had to find my own road. I had to get an excavator and dig it myself, because there was no road to get out. So I made my own road, but now I've made this road and it's paved. I need to start letting traffic in on that road to the same place.
We appreciate that. And he's extremely modest because he's given up his time for many different classes, and he does a lot of work and mentorship, if you ask me. So thank you for that, John. Any other questions for our panelists? You have them now. I have a question there. I think that's Jamaica College. If I could get a microphone over there. Oh, before we get over to Jamaica College, I have this gentleman here. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Hi, my name is Nathan Davis. I am representing my organization, Yardi Teens Limited. I'm the founder and managing director. We're a teen entertainment and youth empowerment organization that has a mission to facilitate and create a platform for teen creativity to be expressed here in Jamaica, as well as a platform for socialization of youth. So really and truly, I am a creative, and my mind consistently does repeatedly work. I don't know if it's a problem or like anybody else can resonate with that. You're always thinking about things. New ideas will come up, and it sort of brings you into a different place where you have to be thinking about, should I put a little more thought into this, or put more focus on this, or staying focused and into it. And that's the real question that any other panelist can really ask and answer. How do you stay focused in getting what you're doing now done and have the plan to put yourself in a position to get what you want to get done in the future?
All right. Who wants to take that? Nadine or Dean? Nadine or Dean?
Well, I could take a shot at that. It's having that goal, right, and that dream. I just know that I've always said I want to be rich. From my picnic, I want rich, because I came up from a very humble beginning. And so I saw people with their nice cars. I went to school and I saw kids being dropped off in their nice fancy cars. And every month I go home, I wonder if the light was going cut off. It was that kind of humble beginning. And so I wanted better for myself, and I wanted better for my family, and And so I had a goal to be rich and successful, and it has always been that. So I just kept focused. But the thing is that I had to be patient, right? And I had to be persistent, and I had to sweat in order to reach that goal. I started my business way into my 40s. I know I don't look a day over 25. Facts. But
Facts.
But it takes time. And so I just kept focused on the goal that I had. So it's just to know what that goal is and just aim for it. So that's what I did.
And I'm going to pass it to Dean, because you handle a lot of things. How do you focus and get laser and still plan for what is to come?
All right, so that's a very good question, because especially creative or just general business space, they have a million ideas that you can come up with. Can you do this? Can you do that? And one of the things that I say is that whatever skill you have, imagine the ceiling of that skill. You're a graphic designer, don't just do graphic design. do you want an international agency? Envision the future, what it could be, the ceiling, and work with that in mind. And then everything that you do should be aligned with achieving that. That kind of helps you to focus on, all right, I want to do this, I want to do that, but actually that doesn't really line up with what my vision is. And that helps you to stay focused. And that's a big discipline of a creative, is to stay focused. So have the goal and ensure that everything that you do, every idea that somebody comes to you, hey, you want to partner, you want to do this, does it align with this ultimate goal? And again, you have to work hard. Oh, yeah. There's nothing in life that is overlooked more than thinking you have a talent and you'll get there. You have to grind every day, every day, every day. I see talented people all the time not achieving their full potential because they rely just on their talent. But you have to dig deep and work hard every day.
I appreciate that. You had something to add?
Yeah, I just want to squeeze onto that. So document everything, write everything down, every idea, document it. And then when you have a clear head, assess it, because some ideas aren't ready to be born yet. They're just in their nucleus. But document it, because a year later you might come back and look back and go, oh, I'm ready to do this. It's written, it's documented. So keep it.
All right, I like that. We'll take the last question here from Jamaica College, I believe it is.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oche James. I'm representing Jamaica College.
All right.
The question I have is, as a creative, you're very competitive, and sometimes the feeling of not being the best begins to set in and begins to stop you from truly achieving. So how did you overcome that as a creative, as a successful creative, and how would you tell somebody who is just starting out to overcome that feeling of not truly being the best in their skill set?
All right, very good question. I said, John saying, can I have it? Can I have it?
Me do want to stop him.
We're going to try, all right?
Me do want to stop him.
We have 3 minutes.
Because that's the wrong word. You are the best that you are now. Right now. And the more you gather, the more you learn, you become better and become better. So never say you're not the best. You are the best of what you have, the knowledge, experience, and stuff. And as you grow, just like a tree, you get stronger, bigger branches. You start shade. You produce fruits. You keep growing. So that's the first thing. Don't say you're not the best. Just say I am the best now, and I can't wait to become better.
And also, don't compare yourself to nobody else. Don't do that at all.
Somebody said never. Somebody said never.
Never. Don't do it, right, Miss Janet? Never do that. I used to do that, See me, me used to do that. I used to say, oh, I want to be like she. Oh, she have on the clothes. Yeah. And I realized that when me stop do that and just walking on my own lane, oh my goodness, that's when I started to shine.
The blessings and the overflow.
Yes.
And we're not saying that it's not human nature, but what we're saying is focus.
Absolutely.
Stay upon you. If you watch other people, you will actually never get to grow in the field that you want to go in because you're watching other people pasture. Water your pasture. Dean, I will leave you to answer that question for last.
So it is natural. And I know that the inspirational thing to say is that don't watch anybody and focus on yourself and so forth. And that is right to an extent. But the human side of it is that you are going to be tempted to be insecure at times. And you really have to dig deep and be confident. But again, there are things to become confident. If somebody's achieving something that you think you should be achieving or doing better or getting other opportunities, is there more work that you could be doing in your field to get there? So it is not just to sit and say, boy, I don't get this, and boy, that person, that, and boy, look how them get that event, and Phase 3 get the bid over me, and I never get to do the event that Phase 3 they get. And you see, it's all right. Okay.
It's all right.
Let me look at the opportunity and say, all right, how can I do better and be better? And a lot of the times, it's really not about one person or the other. It's the industry is so wide that all of us can do very well. So we learn from each other and use the learning and research to inspire your confidence and really push out.
I absolutely love it. We're wrapping up. I have 40 seconds. I'm going to ask each person here one word to describe the creative industry. Starting with John. Yeah, man, you never expect a question there. One word.
Attitude.
Dynamic.
Focus.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dean, Nadine, and John talking about film production and of course lighting. If you have any questions, naturally they'll be willing to have conversations off the stage. Moving to the next panel discussion is fashion, and I will hand it over to Rushcam.
All right, give it up for the panel just now on lighting production. Thank you, tag your it. All right, everyone. Look on your foot. You have on a shoes, don't? You have on a pants or you have on a skirt. You have on a shirt, and you have on a glasses, a ears ring, a bracelet, a watch, something. All of us come in contact with the next panelist or the next area, which is fashion. Now, I love fashion. I never know I could do anything in a fashion growing up. My ear say, I can't sew, so I can't do fashion. I don't have a singer machine, so I cannot do. But we're seeing where the fashion industry really allows an opportunity for us to play in different spaces. You can be a stylist, you could be a bag designer, you could do accessories. And so the next panel is just a fireside chat with me and one person, and I will share a reel to introduce him.
Born and raised in Montego Bay, Jamaica, the son of a seamstress, Matthew Harris, also known as Mateo, discovered his true passion, the art of jewelry making, while living in New York City. As a self-taught designer, Mateo spent his days in the notoriously complex jewelry district, soaking up an education while honing and perfecting his craft. His eponymous brand was formally launched in 2009 with a focus on men's jewelry. After a successful debut, a women's capsule was introduced. In 2014, Mateo refocused solely as a women's fine jewelry collection, converging on an aesthetic of simplicity and minimalism, aiming to create modern art for the modern woman at affordable prices. Each piece is made from 14-karat gold with diamond and precious gemstone accents. Today, the brand is sold in some of the most discerning retailers worldwide, consistently featured in renowned fashion publications, and worn by today's biggest names, including Rihanna, Michelle Obama, Zendaya, and Anne Hathaway. Notably, Mateo was selected by the Smithsonian Museum to be featured and sold at the African American Museum of Art and Culture in Washington, D.C. in 2016, and the Hirshhorn Museum of Contemporary Art in 2017. The brand was a CFDA Vogue Fashion Fund finalist in 2017. Welcome, Mateo, to the Jamaica Creative Conference.
I need more noise than that. Make some noise for Mateo. Hello, if you want to make me strain my voice up here, see? All right, a joke. All right, Mateo, we've been talking at the students, and we want to have a conversation with them. So I'm going to have a quick chat with you, and then we're going to facilitate as many questions as possible. That's good with you?
Sounds good.
All right. You are self-taught. Last year at the conference, we had a plethora of questions. I don't have the sewing machine. I don't have internet at home. I don't have YouTube. I never go to Juilliard. What advice do you have to that person who says, I just don't have the resources?
There's a long and a short answer to that. I think it's all about, number one, having a burning desire. Like, I grew up in Jamaica, and no one here really makes jewelry. You know, so how the hell did I get into the jewelry world? Back then, everyone was wearing skull jewelry, and I hate skulls. My mom always says, take off him, man, I'll be a jewelry. I never forgot it. So I wanted just really elevated, luxurious jewelry. So while I was in New York, I went to 47th Street, the jewelry district, and just asked questions. I think if you truly want to do something, you can put in the work, do the research, acquire the craftsmanship, and develop the talent, and just, as Nike says, just do it. Honestly, I have no barriers. I can do anything I set my mind to. I know it sounds extremely cliche, but I'm a prime example that you can do whatever if you want to do it.
Amen. Hashtag just do it. So everybody has a story. When you look at people's bio, there's always a start and then a skip to the success part. And you want to know really and truly what were some of the challenges. But I know New York in particular, a concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Do you remember? Oh, yes. Do you remember those moments, and do you remember a specific hurdle that you crossed on that journey in New York, at Jamaica, and from Montego Bay, going there, oh, I'm going to figure out Julie? Do you remember that moment?
Well, I think as Jamaicans, our lives naturally come with challenges. You could stop me if I'm wrong. I'm from Mobe. You know, I had...
Mobe, make some noise!
I'm going to big up ComC, because I went to ComC. No one knows that. I did my associate degree at ComC in hotel management. But I think as Jamaicans, we naturally kind of grew up in a world where there are challenges. And luckily, we are resilient people. We always overcome it. But I'm a little black boy from Salem. If anyone from Mobe knows Salem, I'm from Salem. And my mom made so many sacrifices, especially after the divorce. She would give me her last little penny, and I would watch her. I know she had nothing left, but she gave me the money to buy cocoa bread and patty, you know what I mean? And sent me to school and buy a little box drink. And she always says, turn water into wine. So from a very early age, call me Jesus, I've literally been turning water into wine, because that's how I was raised and that's all I knew. So learning that at a very early age, this business was, to me, a cakewalk. When people told me no, I didn't even hear it. For me, it was an opportunity to then say, how do I be better to come back, to turn this no into a yes? And I have heard some no's along the way, but I always say, okay, not my time. How do I come back? How do I be better? And how do I gag you and shock you and come back? And it always works out. 13 years later, I'm still here.
Wow. Turning the water into wine and the no's into yeses. The no's, we're discussing backstage that you heard so many no's.
Yeah.
Were there any people who helped you along the way? And how did they give you that assistance or help?
God. I'm going to say this. Not even my family supported me when I started. My mom said to me, come on your yard. I said, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get a job. So I served tables for 3 years in New York because I believed in what I was doing. Yes, I've met some people along the way who have been mentors, and I'm grateful for that, but you first have to believe in yourself. I read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Transformed my life. A stranger actually gave me the book. I was starting to do my master's in DC, and I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The guy grabbed the book out of my hand and said, here, you need to read this book. Never saw the guy again, a random stranger. And this book to this day has been my mentor. Because you won't always have people around you that are going to support you, uplift you, motivate you. You have to find it on your own. And I cannot stress that enough. Sure, it's amazing to have a mastermind group of just amazing people who want to uplift you, build you, but you yourself have to build that for yourself. Very important.
So there are things that stood out to me in what you just said. That self-belief is super important, because let's say you do have a mentor and that mentor believes in you more than you believe in yourself. Means nothing. And there are resources out there. There are people out there who can mentor you from afar. There are resources out there that can give you that sort of opportunity and that learning. Final question before we go into question and answer. What's the biggest misconception about fashion? We think it's nice clothes and pings and Pablos. What's the truth?
I think people really think it's really just a materialistic industry. And so people just want the fabulosity of it all. At an early age, again, I had to learn how to mix art with commerce. Because at the end of the day, I like to eat food. I want to make sure my rent is paid or mortgage is paid. So it could sit here and be all fabulous, but at the end of the day, the money needs to be there. So super important that we get rid of this notion that fashion is this grand, fabulous thing. You have to think about the financial part of it, because at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself and your family.
All right. Guys, I want to hear your questions. Matteo wants to hear your questions. But let's adjust the question asking to direct questions. So I don't want to hear, my favorite color is blue, and Matteo, what about this? No. Hey, Matteo, boom. My name is, I'm from, this is a question. Marissa, please. This is a question. So let's have some questions. Show of hands.
Hello.
Hi. Caller, where you coming from?
Check.
Caller, where you calling from?
Check 1.
Hello, good afternoon again. So I promise I'm pushing. Okay. So the fashion industry is ever changing with, humans changing. So how do you ensure that your pieces stay individualized, and how do you ensure that you remain true to your craft and your roots?
Beautiful question.
So, being a very savvy business person that I like to think that I am, I'm always doing research. Before I design anything, I do thorough research, because my mom always says there's nothing new under the sun. So if you keep regurgitating what's already on the market, you're not fulfilling or filling any void. So I only enter the market where there's a blank space. And that's why this brand to this day, 13, almost going on 14 years later, is still around. Because I only want to offer something that you tend to have never really had before, because I put my Matteo touch on it. Again, just thorough research is super, super important. And being true to myself and the brand, we've built a brand on simplicity and minimalism and wearability. And for us, if we're making something that's going to sit in some little jewelry box and you bring it out once a year for Christmas, you won't get it from us. And our customers and our clients, they love that. When they buy a piece of Matteo, they can wear it every day.
That's on that, period.
Hello.
We have a question from Always. Is that Always? Does it say Always?
Oh, no, it's
okay.
somebody.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name
Good
is
afternoon.
Kiko Kongo. The question is, with so many different... Oh, I'm from Edamale, so sorry. Hi. With so many different artists coming out with new jewelry, and you can find a new jewelry maker around every corner when it comes to Jamaica, what advice would you give to somebody who's just starting their jewelry business, or would want to start jewelry but doesn't know where to start? Not necessarily in terms of resources, but in terms of how do you start, where do you start?
For me, that's going to be a tough one, because I don't live here full time. So I don't know if there's a jewelry district here. But I learned earlier that there are still small manufacturing shops here.
Yeah.
So maybe you do find one of those goldsmiths that's available in your city, and just ask questions. Where can I source the gold? Where can I buy the gemstones? Where can I get the pearls from? Where can I get the chain from? How much is it going to cost me if I had to import all these things? But again, just thorough research, because if this is your passion, you can get it done. There was a guy at Devon House.
Mm-hmm.
He has a jewelry line, and I used to see him in New York. I don't know his name. He's a bigger guy.
Rev?
Yes.
Rev.
So I used to run into him in the jewelry district, and I didn't know he was Jamaican. Most people don't know I'm Jamaican. They think I'm African, by the way. So everybody always overlook me. If I'm in New York, all the Senegalese guys, they start talking to me in French, and I'm like, no, I'm actually Jamaican. Anyway, used to run into the guy. The point I'm trying to make it, this man got up, figured it out, and did it here. And if he's doing it, you can do it too. There's also another amazing Jamaican jewelry designer, Anna Henriquez. She also started making jewelry here, and she has 2 vitrines at the Pegasus. So, again, they're from Jamaica. They made it happen. You can do it.
And I'd also just add that we're in the beautiful age of social media. You can literally reach out to people where you are. Hey, I'm just an aspiring so-and-so, and I'm so interested, as well as you can start a little Instagram store. and sell 2 ears ring. And, well, I mean, while you build your craft, please, Mateo. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I'm going to give you my number. Honestly, you WhatsApp me. You WhatsApp me anytime.
See it, you know?
And I honestly will respond.
You can dial my number.
I think.
You know, I never know that's where it was going. I'm so happy.
No, because when I was growing up, I wish I had a mentor who would literally pick up the phone. So when I was in, fetal position, bawling my eyes out, like, God damn it, I can't pay my rent. What am I going to do next? You need, I'll be that person for you. So just WhatsApp me and I'll tell you. Okay?
Guys, you get a number, you hear about jewelry, and all of this in less than 10 minutes, and you could not pay for this. Make some noise for Mateo. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you to Mateo. Mateo would have loved an ears ring. Just drop in right, just like a dangle cross or something. I don't know what to have up
seek
there.
and you will find, ask and
Knock
you
on
will.
the door will be open.
Ask and you shall receive.
Glory,
in the name of Jesus.
Glory to the Lamb.
Just listen, just don't give out the man number.
And that,
make sure you don't share it. In fact, don't even store it as his name, store it as something else. So, before we go into the other panel discussion, which is about performing arts, this is the best that we could do before going into it. We're talking about somebody from Jonestown, Kingston.
I never used to sing dancing song. No, I sing dancing song. Sorry, we're a band.
Who you think it is? It's a little youth who get up and say, yo, we're going to do some nice little dancing, but we're going to put the lyrics to it. And him say, you know what? Him just going to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
He was born Romario Ricketts, but he is known as Lali.
Them are better than them. Ladies, you ready? Bye.
Yo. Oh. Yeah. Career, Expo, creative. More everybody stand up, the vibes just start, The boring person in here saying, call it after 3, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Our medium, Lolly, short and tally, Lolly, can't body, Lolly, short and tally, Lolly, can't body. I mean, say, what's on sale? Jump it over here. I want you to drink cornflakes on. Hey, cornflakes on. I want you to drink cornflakes on. Next up. Everybody good? Hi? Miss St. Thomas, you alright? Pick up yourself, my general. Next track, we having a vibes, fam.
Sashel, you know the artist.
JC, KC, every school they go put themselves. You ready? We got the vibes. Aye. My mouth, it can't. Aye. My face, it, Anna. Aye. You see me, no boy, right? You wanna leave my name, Zook, girl. Ice brick from man. Little and I grow. Aye. Bad man could have never got me scarlet. That the matter, you want this, you want show. Never tell you a story, just listen, Aye. How's a nightmare? Hey, Rufus, don't rush me. Hey, Keisha, there, I'm a well-one. Everybody can do that move behind the hips. 1, 2, 1. Everybody start there. Hey, I am a clean. Everybody know this square. Mummy go small man what this. But me know what this. Mummy just watch this. I did brand new dance, me I teach it. If you a girl, just man I show you dimple. Killing them know all the thing go. Brand new dance, it's simple. Career Expo, show them the thing now. Dirt. Hey, mama.
Bing bang, you see the dogs in your front yard?
Some of you know that song is popping up on TikTok. It's called Bang Bing. What you want to say to Joe Byron? What you really want to say to Joe Byron? You ready? Hey, free the body, let the dog them come in. We stop jump one, stop crawling. Airport step, man very clean. And mummy house said, man very mean. Hey, I saw the dog them a step them rolling. Money have to make them trolling. Anywhere me step, more girl a step dog. Them a step and enough girl a step dog. Anywhere me go, me dog them fresh. Hey, mommy you said. Under the car fast, me no broke for me now. Hey, more can't sleep. Face on the toilet. The party kinda different still. Must have to know the party. Don't say that word. Bang bing.
Come round for your little song sing. Rose City can't trust these girls no more, cause she just wants to see the long thing. Show the fear fling. Dang ding. We fit play a drunk ping pong pong ping.
Alright. So them say creative arts. Start the rhythm there, start the rhythm there. Hey, start the rhythm there. I know everybody in your bright, right? The fully done thing there is just for a little term. When reality lick you realize you're not on education, you go broke. You understand? Say anything you aim for in your life, do it. Me done school with 12 subjects and go you way. Look at me, I don't know music. You can't count on nobody. Play the rhythm again. That one you knew, that one you name floating. Yeah. Ministry of Culture, pick up on yourself. Mr. Bob's here today about pick up yourself. We're outside. Miss Caroline Davis. Nice to see you. We are all the vibes. You ready? That one you knew. It named floating. We're not gonna follow me and dance. You ready? Hey, surprise them with a bang bang, lift them with a bing bing. Everything we sing is a hit. Hey, start the rhythm. The Monroe guys, them want to. Monroe is right? Respect. Prestige at its best. Prestige at its best. Rest it again. Oh, Diego jealous, so Diego there too. Alright, let's go. We have vibe. Yeah. Monroe and Diego. Monroe and Diego. Watch your then. Hey, float. Everybody, hey, float. Everybody in the, hey, float. Everybody in the, hey, float. Everybody start float. Watch ya. Me say if you know that one, you ready? 1, 2, surprise them with a bang bang, lift them with a bing bing. Everything me sing is a hit ting. Don't a Frankie my vice one the it. Bad mind coulda never stop my thing. Them say I did a one, but me still a win. Now I makes them, me I do me own thing. Me not too like the show boating, but the dumb money dog, yo keep me floating. Alright then, float, everybody start float. Float, everybody start float. Float, everybody start float. Float, wanna give me something different. What else now? Show my style. Monroe. Hey, I'm Monroe. Hey, I'm a. Hey. Wait there.
Frankie music.
Them trick me when they don't leave, you know. When they don't leave, because they don't steal the show already. Me I perform one more song. Me not perform. Me I just sing a song, sing. Me I see how bad it will be. Play the rhythm. Monroe and Diego. Hey, if your arm dog green, raise your hand. And if your arm dog green, raise your hand. And if your arm dog green, raise your hand. And if your arm dog green, raise. Hey, me never used to sing dance, sing song. Now me sing dance, sing song. Hey, I mean name Lali, and everybody remember me from 28. I made it sing Watson. Hey, now me sing that. Hey, I mean sing dip in a HJCDC. Everybody learn it. Hey, look at it. Again, hey, don't go away now. The ladies them active. GSC. What school is? Alright. Hey, me never used to sing dancing song. Now me sing dancing song, the work that I mean name Lali. And everybody remember me from 2018. I made it sing what's up. Hey, now me sing dark bong. I mean sing dip. More be a ladies, please teach them. Hey, look at the bird. Hey, look at the bird. Hey, look at the bird. Hey, watch it. May I say if everybody back now, they ready? After 3, 1, 2, 3, everybody know dip. Again, one more time. We are test the crowd. We are the who green. Hey, and if your arm don't green, raise your hand. And if your arm don't green, raise your hand. And if your country versus town, country people ready? Hey, me never used to sing dancing song. Now me sing dancing song the work. I mean name Lali, and everybody remember me from 2018. I made it sing what's up. Hey, now me sing dark bong. I mean sing tip in a. Hey, watch you now. Town and country bird. Everybody after shit. 1, 2, 3. Everybody now dip, 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 dip. Hey, bye, 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 bye. Hey, we're done.
The bird gone, left the cage. Make some noise for Lali. And if your arm do green, raise your hand. And if your arm do green, raise your hand. I don't know why them put me for the panel after Lali come on the stage. Me must come now and say, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a conversation now. But can't even walk. All right. Hello, Carlene Davis. This island needs Jesus. This island needs Jesus. I was in the music video, you know. I was in the music video. All right, students. Here's what. Marisa, with your permission, I'm going to switch things up a little bit for this segment. I am going to just do one question, and then we'll just spend the rest of the time doing question and answer and a conversation. Right? So think about your questions from now. Really and truly watch the reels. Take them in because I really want you guys to get as much from this session as possible. So we're talking about the performing arts. Everybody in Jamaica has touched the performing arts. If you go JCDC, dancing, acts, anything, all of it just the performing arts. And if your arm do green, raise your hand. Amen? Amen. So run the reel for me, please. Performing arts time.
Conroy B. Wilson is a creative and musical director, edutainment specialist, and arts administrator who currently sits as the executive director and musical director for the renowned Ashe Company, a 30-year-old social development, theater arts, and production company founded in 1993. He has also served as musical director for national projects, including the Jamaica Independence Grand Gala. Throughout his career of almost 3 decades in leadership, he has conceptualized, co-authored, and produced several books, films, documentaries, and edutainment pieces, some of which include the self-help transformational book, Your Empowerment GPA, the television series Chill, and several edutainment musicals and trainings now being used across the region for social development. He has a postgraduate degree in communication, with research looking at the use of arts and culture to create social and behavior change, and several certificates in music from the London Royal School of Music. Conroy is one of the resident judges on the television show Digicel Rising Stars. Please welcome Conroy Wilson to the Jamaica Creative Conference. Rayon McLean's penchant for storytelling drew him to the world of advertising, theater, and film more than 15 years ago. Today, he has found a home for his vast array of global experience, leading a team of cutting-edge Caribbean content creators at The Lab, always exploring novel ways to fuse innovation and authenticity. In 2020, he conceptualized and spearheaded a Google London project that captured the poignant stories of the Windrush generation. Rayon is also an award-winning theater maker who has created work in the United Kingdom, Denmark, and North America. In 2022, Rayon was the executive producer and director of Pitchy Patchy, a 360 digital and theater experience, utilizing some of Jamaica's leading thespians and social media influencers. Rayon is a sound brand and content strategist who has worked for celebrated advertising agencies such as Leo Burnett in London. He is a 2017 Chevening Scholar and a proud graduate of Goldsmiths, University of London. Please welcome Rayon McLean to the Jamaica Creative Conference. Marcus James is an internationally acclaimed actor and performer. He spent his formative years in Jamaica, where he balanced intense artistic training with his scholastic activities. After graduating from the University of the West Indies with first-class honors in media and communication studies, he moved to the United Kingdom, where he obtained a master's degree from the University of Bristol in film production. He subsequently forged a path in the entertainment industry as an actor and performer. To date, he has worked with Walt Disney in The Lion King and has done a multitude of commercial projects for brands such as Cadbury's, Nokia, Heineken, Adidas, Freddy Sports in Italy, and others. He has credits as a lead and featured actor in high-profile theatrical projects such as Aida, the Sadler's Wells production of the Mahabharata, and the critically acclaimed production Death in Venice. He has also had lead, guest star, and featured roles in shows such as Game of Thrones on HBO, where he played the role of White Rat, Mummy Mysteries on Channel 5 in the UK, where he played the role of Akhenaten, Headless Horseman on Apple TV, and the ongoing series Keeping Up with the Joneses on the Lifetime Movie Network, where he plays the role of William French. Upcoming roles include lead and featured parts in projects for film and television, as well as projects for major streaming platforms. Please welcome Marcus James to the Jamaica Creative Conference.
Make some noise for our panelists. Now, as I say, I want you guys to ask as many questions as possible, so I'm going to keep it short. You heard the reels, we know about the gentleman. Conroy, I consider you a facilitator. You can spot talent. You've been developing talent for so long. They always talk about that je ne sais quoi. What's on that ingredient list for the star? We're looking for a star. You're looking for the people who make it. What's on the ingredient list?
Okay, let me use an acronym, like doing that. Play. P. Professionalism, and most of the people spoke about it already. Professionalism, and professionalism is the top of your game. Know your craft. All the things that the people have said before. P. L. Love. You must love what you do. There's no point in using your time and energy if you're not going to love it. It's a waste of time. A is artistry. Know your art. Know which art is yours. Not everything is for everybody, but there is a space for everybody. And why? Yes, know what is your yes. If you're a professional, if you love what you do, your artistry, you'll know when to say yes and what to say yes to.
Perfect. Beautiful. Rayon, a lot of people are ideators. You come up with ideas all the time, but I'm sure it's a hurdle too. There's a hurdle when it comes to moving from idea to execution. How do you overcome that hurdle? How do you decide which ideas are ripe and ready for the execution? What's that process like for you?
You have to be willing to play. And I know play might seem like just a frivolous word, but for somebody like me who, I grew up in rural Jamaica, humble beginnings, I used to take on everything very serious, like, I'm here in London and I'm studying and I must do well, because when mama send you to class, don't you ever play, as what you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that I was unable to move from idea to action when I was afraid to fail, or I was just too serious about it. And when I lighten up and just explore and don't focus on gaps or what you don't have, then I was able to find success in just doing.
I like that. A lot of us are too married to the ideas and we're too serious and we take, relax, ease into it, have fun, play. So play is play. But I'm going to ask about work because it's money, Marcus. How do you make money as an actor when it really and truly goes with the waves of whether or not you're the soup of the day? Do I like you? Do you have the look? How do you really and truly make that bank?
Making money as an actor, well, in the arts, in terms of acting, there are different avenues that you can get into. There's theater performance, there is the commercial world, and there's, of course, film and television. I've worked in all three, and I primarily now work in film and television, and also I do commercial work. In order to support myself while I was developing my craft, I did look at spaces outside of the performing arts, and that's something I want to say. There's nothing wrong with being educated or skilled in something outside of the arts that you can use to support yourself in the arts.
Amen.
And that extra income outside, whether it's passive or it's active income, takes the anxiety away from worrying about money in the moment of being an artist. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with supplementing your income as long as it doesn't take your dream away from you. I'd actually implore people to have a job outside of the arts that they can use to support themselves while they're developing their craft. The reason I say developing the craft is because it takes a while. It takes a while to become what I would say is undeniable. Get yourself to the point where you have created a very strong version of yourself, whether it be a singer, a dancer, or an actor, so that when you get into that room, even if you don't book the job, they will call you back in for something else, and eventually you will book that job. So you will create a path for yourself where you start earning a decent amount of money from being an actor or a singer or performer. I'll tell you the different strands of the arts. So in terms of theater, I'm not 100% sure how it works in Jamaica right now, so I can't speak on that. But for international productions, for example, if you get into a Broadway production or a West End production in London, getting into one of those productions is the equivalent of an accountant having a 9-to-5. That's your 9-to-5. Because those contracts are oftentimes a year-long contract, and they do offer renewals. So if you're comfortable doing a theater production for a very long term, you can get into a theater production and you'd be set. Just make sure you invest your money, save your money, and look at ways that you can make your money work for you while you're doing that job. For the commercial sector, commercials pay extremely well internationally. Like, I've done commercials for Nokia and Cadbury's and Heineken, and I earned
yeah, me know one of them who dry away when you come off of the stage and say, bank.
No specifics. But for example, I did a commercial for Nokia a few years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was a 5-figure sum that I got paid for 1 day's work. And by the time they edited, yeah, it was for 1 day's work. So there are avenues that you can make money as an actor, as a performer. In terms of the commercial aspect of it, that can also be tied into social media. So if you have a transferable personality that is captivating online, you can leverage that and bring brands to encourage brands to associate themselves with you so that they pay you to advertise their products. And that is a part of the performing arts. And of course, when we get into film and television acting, it does take a while to get up to the point where you're playing a guest star role, which is you have a decent amount of lines. You may be in like if it's a television series, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, to being a lead, etc., etc. And so for that, you really have to be patient, and you have to become the strongest version of yourself, and definitely undeniable. Right now, of course, I've done Game of Thrones. I'm doing Keeping Up with the Joneses with Vivica Fox and Eric Roberts. I'm doing a lot of castings for CBS. They're calling me back in constantly, and also I've been casting for Marvel. So it does take a while to get to that level, but until then, don't be afraid to explore your economic options outside of the arts, and also explore the different variations within the arts: commercial, theater, film and television.
Beautiful. I think that, yeah, man. By the way, I just love how it's like, yeah, man, I'm just casting for Marvel, you know, just a casual day. Me and Spider-Man just,
No, so basically, I've been developing what you call is a casting relationship. So just because you go in and you cast for somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically going to get that role in that moment. Like, I've been in casting sessions for Paramount where I walk into the room, they ask me to stand on a spot, an X, and you have like 5 people behind a panel, behind a desk, and they look at you and they make notes, and they look at you again and they make notes, and then they ask you to say like a few lines, and then they say, okay, when we call you back in, which you never know when that is, you say this, this, and this. So you get your point to the You get yourself to the point where people are aware of your presence.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that there are certain people who are aware of my presence, and it's up to me to make myself more undeniable and consistent in my work.
I love that
so
word.
that I get to the next level, basically.
Thank you very much. Guys, can I get a round of applause for the panelists? And I would just like to say that these gentlemen have been here from morning, taking in everything, because they are truly passionate about what we're doing here as well. And we could talk about this all day. I want you guys' questions. I really want to hear what you guys want to ask. Hello? So questions. Question and answer. Only want me go and talk? Oh. Okay. Oh, you want to hear more? No, she have a question. Hi. Name. No, man, you're going to get a mic. Name, address, telephone number. Call it where you're calling from.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Obrena Johnson, representing the University of West Indies. And my question for the panelists are, how do you guys incorporate rest into all of this business?
I love that question, and I'm going to go. You said, so Conroy said rest. What is that? Let's keep the answers quick and tight, quick and short, and then we rest.
You know, at the gym, they tell me rest is so when you're dead. But balance with everything else. But really and truly, when you're passionate about something, you're hardly ever thinking about rest. You're kind of thinking about what do I need to do? How do I need to build and work my craft? And sometimes you're up hours in the night. If you're really passionate, you really love what you do. Yes, it is important to take care of yourself because your body is also your greatest asset and skill. But I don't know that we go into it thinking about, okay, when am I going to rest? We're just going to thinking about what do I need to accomplish and what do I need to do to get to where I want to get to while taking care of myself.
I want to hear from Rihanna as well, please.
All right, I don't want to repeat what Conroy said, but just think about this. When I used to write and direct stuff as a freelancer, I couldn't rest. But the better I did as a creative director and a director, I could start to hire people. So you have to put the work in first. And then you can think about resting. That's...
Yeah. Think about it this way. When you start a marathon, you're just like, okay, I'm prepared. I've done the work. I'm hydrated. Where the water stops, who do I need to see along the way, and how do I get to the finish line? You don't start a marathon saying, when am I going to rest?
And I don't want to be misunderstood
I know.
in terms of saying that, like, especially if you use your mind, that you don't need to sleep and you don't need to rest. But you find the harder you work, the more you put in, you can afford the trips to Europe and to Bora Bora, and you can go to the hotel. You know, but if you don't work, you can't. Thanks.
Yes.
The reward for success is more work.
The reward for good work is more work.
And the reward for rest is more rest. And I don't know how that can pay the bills, but...
Ask Terry Carroll, the reward for good work, Terry, is more work. Well, yes. Really, always work.
Good afternoon. My name is David Robinson, representing Jamaica College. And I have a question that could fit, that any of you three can answer. It's what pitfalls or traps, if any, do beginners face in any of your industries, and what advice do you have to avoid said pitfalls or traps?
Okay. Nice question. Marcus?
Okay, so I'll speak from the perspective of a performer. I'm working primarily as an actor right now, but I would say be very realistic about where you are in terms of your talent and be ready to make the necessary adjustments in terms of learning to become better. So not because you see somebody on television and you think you look good, so you have a great personality, you can be on television. It doesn't work that way. It's about actually being able to execute that talent at a very high level. And that requires discipline, and it requires focus, and it also requires thinking outside of the box. For example, like I've done, quite a lot of work in terms of shoots, but there's still, so I don't actually have a lot of time to do acting classes. So the way that I supplemented that was that I went on YouTube and I started watching videos. I watched the videos of this guy, Joseph Perlman, who would teach about script analysis and executing the character in a realistic way. So when I say think outside of the box, just think about ways that you can make yourself stronger and be realistic about where you are right now. If you've studied tap dancing for 30 years, you can't get up and suddenly become a ballet dancer. You have to train for something very specific that you have in mind.
Perfect. I am moving on to another question over here, but students, I also want you to think of your questions in a positive light, like how can I improve, grow, strengthen? A lot of times our questions are, what do I do if I reach a hurdle? How do I really want, you guys have an opportunity to talk to people who are at the top of their game, and I want you to ask them about the skill set, the positive part, the attitude, not the problems, for the solutions.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kai Cole. I'm representing Edna Manley College, specifically the School of Dance. Okay, so I know the creative industry is really changing and people are becoming more diverse in their skill sets. Personally for me, and it's interesting, I had this conversation with my mentor yesterday about doing too many things to be more marketable in a sense. How is it that you remain marketable and have a lot of skill sets without spreading yourself too thin?
Good question. I want to hear from Conroy, because Conroy manages the triple threats. So it would be nice to hear your perspective.
Well, you have to first of all find what is your niche. So, there's a jack of all trades where you try to do everything, but there's something that you particularly are strong at, and you have to develop that thing first. And everything else is secondary around it. So this whole thing about trying to be everything to everybody, to become marketable, become the top of your game first, of your field, whatever you have chosen first. And once you have done that, then all the other things that you need to know, all the other skills that you need to have will be drawn to you, will be attracted to you because you're at the top of your game, as opposed to trying to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, because that's hustling. So get to the top of your field and make sure that you are the best at whatever you do or whatever that looks like. And judging yourself by international standards. A lot of us in Jamaica as artists, we're judging ourselves based on people in Jamaica. Yeah. And this is not to say people in Jamaica are not at international standards. But lift the gaze a little higher, lift the measuring stick a little higher, and look at international standards and match yourself against that standard.
Yeah, drops mic. Guys, I got some extra minutes, just for you guys to ask your questions. So I saw a question. Hello. Hi.
Good
Caller,
day,
where you calling from?
Everyone. My name is Dijane.
Hi, Dijane.
And I'm representing Edna Manley. Okay, my question was what advice do you have to multi-potentialites who have more than one talents, like dance, music, graphic designing, and business? How do you balance them, and how do you young artists, how can we focus on or know what we focus on?
All right, so I think Conroy had just answered that. So I will give Ryan an opportunity to provide us with an answer as well.
Yeah, try to set me up.
No.
This is what I say. I agree with what Conroy said, but there's also another way to look at it, and I can use just my own experience as an example. So when you do well at something, and I do theater and I'm a theater, people go, oh, you're an amazing theater director and you should just stick to that. And when people find that you're a marketer, they're like, okay, you're a marketer, can you be a theater person and a marketer? Yes, you can be both. And the last project I did, some of you may know about it, Pitchy Patchy, which I use the influencers. Yeah.
Patchy. Them Pitchy Patchy.
Because I'm a marketer and I'm in the room presenting every day to CEOs and the heads of marketing, that gave me an opportunity and a platform to say, okay, all right, we can sell bread, we can sell mackerel, but okay, also this is my art and you may be interested in it. And I was able to find success in the middle of two things I'm passionate about. So I think there's a space to do more than one thing, and it gives us an opportunity to even pivot in crises. If I was solely depending on theater during COVID, JP said I cut off my light.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's a space to traverse more than one area. Once you're disciplined and you're consistent and you're excelling, you're doing your best.
That is the common thread between both of what you guys have said.
This is the thing I want to say about that.
Discipline.
You can do 50 things if you wish, but you must be willing to put in the work for the 50 things that you're going to do.
That is the common
There's no
factor.
limit to what you can do.
Yes.
But the thing is, for some of us, our attention span is so short, we can barely even cover one thing and cover it good, and we want to move on to something else. And so we need to be able to stick to one thing, become good at it, and when you're good at it, then move to something else. But don't be mediocre at many things. Become good at least one thing, and then, keep doing others.
So what both answers have in common is that excellence is the standard. And that is the golden thread going throughout. Whichever, if you decide to do 51, 2, or 6, you must be disciplined.
Because, sorry if I may say, it affects your brand because think about it like this. If you go to the gym and you only work up here so, right? Yes, I'll go, not gonna look good. So it's all market it's the same thing. If I were, let's say, a good marketer, but my theater or film skills were like horrible and I'm walking around saying I'm a marketer and I do theater and film, one thing I'll draw down the next thing people are going to say, Rayan is a good creative.
Yes.
You can't say you have a good body if you only have good chest.
Facts.
I am guys, you guys are out of control. I have one more question. I'm allowed to ask one more. He already has the mic. I tried my best, guys. I really did. And I'm hoping that you guys can facilitate the students afterwards. Hi, my name is?
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lodi Banton from the Monroe College, and I'd like to ask a question to any one of the presenters. All right. So let's say a young individual now. He has all of the required skills, talents, but he's lost in the performance arts, as in he does not know how to go about things. What advice would you give him?
All right, I'm going to give it to Marcus. Let me tell you why. Because Marcus was in Jamaica, was trained with Ashe. That's it. Never got Julia or this, that. Figured it out. Is now Game of Thrones, all of that. Tell us about it.
Right, so you're asking about getting involved in the arts, right?
And figuring out what the best step is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are, irrespective of wherever you are in Jamaica, there are always resources available that you can find out about. Ashe exists. There's a young gentleman here that has a company called Yardi. And there are other organizations that exist. So I would say find an organization that is closest to you where you can at least start your training there. Think outside of the box and do research on how you can get better. If you want to be an actor, for example, find that local organization, but do research on YouTube, watch videos, watch movies, make notes. And then as you progress, you'll find other organizations that you're qualified to join, and so on and so forth. So the one thing I do want to mention is that all my training happened in Jamaica. Like, I was a part of the Little People and Team Players Club, then Ashe, and then Lakadco. I did not train overseas at all. So when I left Jamaica, my first job was the Lion King, the West End production. And that was from my Jamaica training. I went into the audition and I had, 8 callbacks. And in the end, I was like, I'm definitely getting this. And if it's one thing that Ashe and Little People, etc., taught me, and they're still doing it, is to make yourself visible and seen. Mm-hmm. And that is performance quality. And so I offered the performance quality. And I took my Jamaica training. Obviously, I learned on the job as I progressed. But in terms of my core training, that took me all the way up to Game of Thrones. So So all of that was achieved with the core training I got in Jamaica and then on-the-job training after that. After Game of Thrones is where it became very specific with regards to acting, which is a whole different ball game of psychological analysis and introspective work on yourself and studying accents and that kind of thing. So it did change after that, and I had to do classes and stuff. But in terms of the core long-term training, it's in Jamaica. So you do have the resources here. And Jamaicans are resilient people. So if you are not finding an organization that you can join, even a small organization, that's probably due to a lack of effort. So make the effort.
Dance I had before you dance. Conrad, them wrapping me up in the Rising Star,
At the ashleycompany.org.
That's the truth. The resource is there. The resource is there, and you're seeing a living example of someone who dance a yard before him dance abroad. That's just simply it. Jamaica is enough. We are enough. You have enough with what you have, and then you can elevate, take it to the next level, and make something out of it. Thank you so much, panelists. I am very happy, guys. I can't deal with this fenke behavior. I cannot do it. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you so much, panelists. It's like them no one go it. Conroy, Rayon, and Marcus. We could speak to them all day, all evening, but, the fool has never been told. Terry, I missed you.
No, you didn't, you liar. That was a great panel discussion. There were a lot of questions about multi-potentialites over here, right? About being able to do a lot of things. We are the world. Here's another thing. There are many multi-potentialites out there. I am one. Not because you can do 3 million things means that you should do 3 million things. You actually have to be able to narrow down what needs to be done and what should be done. You don't have to do all of them, and you don't have to do all of them all at once either.
Professionally.
And
there's a book, guys, Big Magic. You're giving me the music. There's a book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which talks about that sort of decision and the road to take on what you're earning and earning as a creative versus what you just do for fun.
Absolutely.
You can just check it out.
Absolutely. Now, the lady who explained to us why this was important, why the Jamaica Creative Career Expo is important, she gave us the opening remarks, and now it is only fitting that we give her the opportunity to close. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Marissa Benin.
She's just a girl and she's on fire.
Good evening, and thanks for staying all day. Just to say thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to all the panelists and the speakers. Guys, these are people who have jobs, who run businesses, and they have decided to spend the day with us. And I really, really appreciate it. And the ones who have traveled from far, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you on behalf of Minister Grange and the entire Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. And then my team, I forgot one person, Mr. David Brown, who assisted us in the wee hours of the night last night. I just want to big him up. I know he's watching all the way from Paris. Big up. And also, the most important person who hears all my problems, Mr. Roger Hines. Thank you. I just have one line that I got from Janet. She says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You hear that? So, with that, all of you who have Instagram, please watch the Jamaica Creative page and see what we are up to. And all I will say is you will not believe who will be here next year. Have a great day, people. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for making it the Jamaica Creative Career Expo 2023. For those of you who are traveling back to your schools or just home, we wish you journeying mercies. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to tag us. We see some of the... Is this online? Yes. For photos? Yes. Want to bring on the money? I just learned about entrepreneurship and that I have value. So I should charge each and every one of you. You're marketing me. How many followers you have? Let me see if this is a good leverage. She's not even on Instagram, in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you so very much for coming. We wish you all the best, and don't forget that the Jamaica Creative Career Expo is an amazing resource, and we are here to assist you. It has been a pleasure serving you. Rushcam was my absolutely fabulous co-host, and I'm Terry Carell, and we will see you guys next year.
Famous as a place of movie scenes.